Hello, welcome to Small Town News. My name's Gil. I'm here with Diana Shelton, school counselor at Meadows. Um, as customary, tell me about yourself, Ms. Shelton, and we'll go from there.
Okay, I could say my work experience would be a social worker at Imperial County back in the early 80s. I investigated for a while, volunteered at Women Haven in the Sure Helpline, and a lot of social service experience. So
Wow. And I guess so. Uh, Now in the educational field, how long were you in the social services field until you? How long were you in the social services?
social services, I would say I worked for the Imperial County Department of Social Services for 5 years, but I worked out the prison through the contracted agency, Friends Outside. I did that for 5 years. I worked in Texas, Lubbock, Texas, through Catholic Charity as a youth counselor. So I have over 20-something years in the social service
Oh
field.
wow!
Yeah.
How has that experience in social services helped you as your role today as a school counselor?
Oh, all of it, because from making home visits, from knowing the resources in the community, from even at the prison, a lot of our students do have incarcerated parents and things as to that nature. So to actually being worked inside the prison, because I was located at Calipatria State Prison, so from being on the inside talking to the inmates, it gives me a different perspective to know how they would feel about their children, and then doing things to keep them involved with their children, because a lot of them have had the idea, oh, I'm incarcerated, I can't be there, I can't be a dad. Oh, yes, you can. There's still things you can do. So, to have some of the children that have parents incarcerated and to tell them the same thing. You could write letters, you could stay in contact just to keep that communication. So, just setting them up for life and preparing them for life and dealing with different things that they come across every day.
Yeah, that must be tough for both the child and the parent to be going
Yeah,
through that.
I would take it is, but it's like I said, it's life and it's a part of things that we have to adjust to and adapt. So it's how do you take it and learn from it and make it better? And a lot of the times I think the students do kind of see what happened. They say, I don't want that. But that's still your dad and he loves you. So, you still have to take whatever you have and work it to make something positive out of it. So,
Yeah, like right now, I was running late. I was breathing, huffing. You said, "Hey, things, take a breath, and let it."
yes.
Is that maybe you see a problem with kids at times that we kind of even? I'm not that I'm a kid, but I have the mindset at times of we're trying to too busy to just or thinking overthinking things or.
Yeah, I would take it with, I say children, but with even adults. Sometimes myself, I have to say that too. And, even my pastor at church, he'll come in and do the same thing. So I think it's we in general, we kind of forget to smell the flowers, just relax and see the sun and things like that. So I think we just kind of have to regroup and come back down. So that's why, I kind of said that to you. But yeah, we all do it. So that's it.
Yeah, and so I guess what are some way a child as a school counselor, a child may come to you, hey, what are some ways and methods that you kind of get a child, like you said, to kind of relax and smell the roses?
Well, I think that's with, listening to them, seeing if they want to talk. And a lot of it depends on, what the situation is and where they are at, because some of them come in just freely ready to talk and other ones really don't want to talk about it. And that's okay too. So I think about just accepting them where they are and taking it from there, And sometimes I might even start off with, we're not going to talk about it. Let's just see, you know, you see that rock outside. What you think about that? Because sometimes you just need to take their mind away from it from a while, because we're so used to always, we have to deal with things. We have to deal with things. No, we don't. Let's take a minute to breathe. Let's just work on something else. And then giving them the choice. Okay, would you like to talk with me now? Do you want to talk about it? And letting them know that it's okay, whatever you want to do. This is your counseling session. This is your time, So I try to get them to get to know themselves and see what they're comfortable with. Because to me, that's what counseling is about. You know, you pick up a rapport with people, and everybody we may not connect to, we may not get along with. So kind of take that instinct and kind of see, are you comfortable right now? Or you know you're okay? And if they say, you know, they're not, sometimes I tell them, just communicate and be honest, because that's what I need from you, you know, because if you don't want to talk about it, tell me. You won't hurt my feelings, because it's not about me, it's about you.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Mm-hmm.
right. I mean, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
empowering them to choose. You know, it's like
Yes.
as kids, you may be getting ordered, don't do this, don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of saying, hey, it's
Yeah.
your choice. Just
Mm-hmm.
be honest.
Right. And I ask that they be honest, because I always tell them, you know, if you tell me you're going to try journaling or you're going to try this, and then you walk out that door and you might be Miss Michelle the crazy, I'm not going to do that, you know. So you're wasting my time and yours, you know. And that's okay. You can tell me, Miss Shelton, no, I'm not going to do that. Or, you know, I tell them all the time, you know your situation, you know your family, you know your life way better than I do. So the things I'm saying to you are just suggestions. You have to see if they'll for you. And it goes back to, like you said, empowering and just letting them see to trust in themselves and believe in themselves. That's the thing, too.
Yeah. Do you feel
Hmm.
as kids that maybe do more kids today, or maybe has it just been kind of constant believing in themselves? Has that been an issue in today, or has that kind of always been a really big issue?
I think it's always been an issue with everybody. Like I said, you know, we talk about adults the same way. And to me, we have all these wounded children, because even as adults, I do believe it's a child inside of all of us. And how we take care of that child is what makes a difference. You know, if we nurture that child, love that child, give that child confidence to be okay to come out, you're going to have a good adult. Where if we're always beating up on that child, you know, you're going to have adults sitting there wounded. And a lot of times we tend to forget. We just look, oh, is an adult in front of me. And then when we look at parents, you know, they only know what was taught to them. So if you don't know, how can you do better in that? But we just assume, oh, they're this age or that age, they're that age. They should know what to do. No, everybody don't. So we have to take people where they're at. So I think it's been like that.
Yeah, so it's almost like a
Hmm.
cycle.
Yes. And I think with all of us, because I have a nonprofit also that we do parenting classes called Trees to Teach, Educate, Empower and self. And with that, that's a lot of it too, because we tend to forget that we need to teach people how to do certain things that we want them to do. And then with educating them too, most people say, well, teach is educate. No, when you're educating, you're teaching them how to apply what you have taught them, because I could take something from a book, that don't mean I know how to use it. So with educating them, you're doing that, and you're giving them the power to empower themselves. And that's what it's about, while respecting them, because a lot of times we may talk to people, but we talk down to them a lot, you know, a lot of put downs that we don't tend to see. Like you say, you could be in a rush, you could just be what you snap at people, you know, everybody. But if you take the time and respect them and see where they're coming from and be with them just to help them become a better self.
Amen.
You gave me this look like.
Amen. Yeah. You talked about your nonprofit. I guess
Mhm.
can you share a little about that?
Oh, yes. We started in 2014. And when it first started, we had wanted to get involved with bring a drug court here to Imperial County, because we don't have one dealing with substance abuse, domestic violence, and things as to that nature. But we kind of ran into a few problems, because all the agencies here, which would be behavioral health, the court system, probation, and social services, we've been having a hard time getting everybody together. So from that, I was talking to one of the judges, and he was like, give me something that we can offer. And that's when I thought about parenting. So what we do is offer parenting classes throughout Imperial County, including Salton Sea, Nyland, and Winter Haven, because those are the areas that's on the outskirts and, you know, have tend to be forgotten about. But I do feel good, because when I first did social work in the early 80s, everybody had to come into El Centro to get services. And I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and I thought that was the craziest thing, because I'm like, they don't have any money. They having problems. How they gonna get from Winter Haven to here? From Bombay Beach to here, you know, from Salton Sea. So when I moved back after living in Texas, I'm like, oh, they finally got it, you know. And at that time, they didn't even provide bus services. So to see that the transit system is here, it's like, wow, you know, we have really grown, but we still have a lot more to do. But to see the difference, because that was one thing, is how do you expect somebody who don't have any money to make it to El Central? You know, and then get back home. So You know, I see the growth here.
Yeah, and that's and so your nonprofit, it's called
Trees.
Trees. Okay, I think
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what
I've
came up
okay.
with.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Why you looking at me
No,
like
I'm just
that? Yeah.
because I mean you say we talk about this cycle, and so educating the parents.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're saying now to do to break that.
Yes, to break it. And also, that's the thing as a school counselor, which I'm on ground, so I'm there for the students, but I reach out to the parents too, because to me, that's their child. They need to know what's going on with that child. I need to get their input, about their child to see what they're seeing. If they see the same issues, but you still do it with keeping the confidentiality and not telling what the student has told you, but you just want to see, what are you seeing at home? How do you feel about this? So it's kind of the same way, but bringing communication to each other. And I tell the students all the time, did you tell your parents you're talking to me? Because they do have to sign a permission slip unless it's for academic, for behavior or attendance. For those things, I don't need a permission slip, but for anything else. And anything else could be self-esteem, communication, grief, whatever. And I tell them, I want your parents to know you send me. Because as a parent, I know I would want to know who my children was talking to. So, I encourage that contact to tell the parents we're here. Whatever we can help you with, feel free. Because a lot of times I feel they, think they're out there by themselves. And it's like, no. What they say, it takes a community to raise a child, and we're all part of this community.
Yeah. Regarding parenting, from you started social work in the '80s to now, what have been some of the biggest changes you've seen in your career in regards to parenting and issues in that?
Oh, really? I would think probably economics, because the way things are in our society, I would say, because I think all the other issues have still been there, but I think with the way the economy has came about, I think that has hurt a lot of parents, and it put them at a disadvantage, not knowing what to do, how to do things, not having the funding, the source, and not just seeing that. Really, to me personally, it doesn't take those things. If you give love, if you give understanding, those are the best things in the world. Because I remember, and even now with my children and grandkids, I'm like, it's not when we go out and spend all this money, it's that quality time we spend with each other. So I think we need to get back to the basics and just keep life simple.
Yeah, as a society, maybe when you see TV, you see kind of things, the media, has that distorted that idea of quality of love compared to material?
Yes, because you see it, and that's what young people get in their mind, or some older people too. But it's like when you sit down and really look at it. And I can speak for myself, because not only being out there working, I looked at the day when I seen life that way too. With doing social work, I'm like, I'm busy, I'm going to school, I'm doing this, but oh, I gotta go shopping. I want to go to Saks Fifth Avenue, I wanted this, and all the latest purses and all that stuff. Now it's like, that doesn't make a difference, because I end up donating them, giving them away, not even thinking about being in debt, So from going through those things, and that's where I think where even my work experience, but my personal life has helped me a lot too in the job.
And what was there anything that kind of like that shift was like when you said you went from I want to shop to let me no I want to those things don't matter. Was there anything moment or event that happened that kind of triggered that?
Oh, it was a lot. I was burnt out from doing CPS, and was in a bad marriage, and it was just like, oh, it has to be a better life than this, because running from yourself and doing certain things, and then somewhere in the process too, I had lost Diana. I was a wife, I was a mother, I was a social worker, I was all these things that looked great on the outside, but it was like, wait a minute, where's Diana? Where's that person at? Before I became a mother, before I became a wife, before I became the social worker, where is she at? So it was like, stop, hold up, let's put everything on pause, And I ended up going off from work and stressed for a while. Ended up going to behavioral health, seeing a therapist, because it was like, wait a minute, I gotta find me, And during that time, that's what happened. And during that era, it was kind of like the codependency movement, It's like we want to help everybody else, we're giving up things for ourselves, and it was like, hold up, I'm just as important as everybody else. I can't help anybody until I help myself. So that's kind of where it started. And then it was like I had to go back to before, like I said, the kids and the husband. I'm like, so what did you want in life before you got all of them? And that's when I said my education. You know, because I had figured, oh, by 26, I would have my master's. And, you know, I had my whole life planned out before all that. And then when that came along, it was like, okay, I'm going to work, you know, I'm going to school. I have the kids. I got to give up something. So school would be the thing that I always gave up. And it was like, no, no, now it's time to stop and go back for me. And I remember talking to Dr. Lopez over at IBC because I had to go see him when I came back because I had dropped out so many times, you know. And he was like, well, what I'm looking at, you know, your transcript, and look, you keep starting, you keep stopping. I remember telling him, I say, no, you're looking at it the wrong way. You need to be looking at it as like I haven't gave up. I keep coming back. You know, and he was like, yes. And he said, you know what? I like your attitude. You get in the master program, come see me, I hire you. And what you did for a while, you know, but it was like, it's the way we look at things. And I'm like, here, and I'm thinking, here this man is, he's supposed to be helping me, and he's really trying to make me feel bad, you know? And I'm like, no, 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 let's turn that around, you know? So I did complete it, and that's when I decided, you know, to be more on the front end of things, be proactive with helping the community, with helping students. And that's why I'm like, a school counselor. That would be what I need to do, to take all my experience from, you know, domestic violence, from child abuse, from behavioral health issues and all that, and put it back in the school and help the children. And I worked in a group home too. I forgot that. I was administrator of a group home for 5 years in Riverside.
Wow, what haven't you done?
I know, you know, I've been thinking about it because some of the kids be like, Miss Shelton, you know, you kind of know a little bit on this, you know that, and I kind of laughed because I think they were kind of saying it as a put down too, but I thought about it, I said, you know what, you're right. I said, but it's life. You know, and to take those life experience and to have a job that they're being useful to. And I always believe too, when we go through something and we come out of it, you need to help somebody else. So all the things that I have done, all the things that I've been through, I can relate to the students. You know, whether I've been through the divorce, because during that time we went through that. So when I have parents come in or students come in saying, I don't know, you know, it's hard to choose who I want to be with, my mom or my dad. So we could talk about that. I tell them the experience with my kids. Well, when my kids, when they went through it, they told me this or they that, you know. So from having all those experiences, I think that's what really helps me to enjoy doing the work that I do.
Yeah, and you learned. I mean, and you didn't give up. I mean,
Oh,
that's.
yes, that's not an option. And I
And
think
where does
that's
that
for
come from?
anybody.
Where does that come from then?
You know what? I believe it's something that really my mom probably instilled in all of us because we grew up in Watts. You know, and it was like, get an education, do that, you know, that's what's going to make you, because she grew up, well, she ended up growing up here, but she was like, you know what, I remember going to school and I would write papers for white people and they would get A's and I had A's on my papers. You know, and she's like, and that's crazy because I wrote the other paper too. You know, so she says, so life isn't fair, but this is what you need to do. And I think also she instilled a sense of pride in us. You know, it was like, yes, you're black, but you can do whatever you want to be. You have a lot to offer, you know, and all those things. And it was like, it might be rough, but if you want something, you can accomplish it.
And you kept that, yeah, and that's.
Yeah, and I have it. And I passed it on to my children, to my grandkids, and the students that I see. Because it's like, you can do it. The ball is in your court. What are you going to do with it? And whatever you do with it, that's okay. And I think that's the acceptance part. Because it's like, if you don't want it, that's okay. But you tell me what it is that you want to do. And I'll guide you and help you and assist you. But you have to do the work.
Yeah, and that's. I think that's a big part, right? They have to do the
They
work.
have to, and that's it, you know. And that's, to me, what life should be about. You know, if we all do that to people, to make them feel comfortable with whatever decision they make, because we don't know what's best for them. We can guess and we can try to figure it out, but to me, and I think I learned that in CPS too, because that was one thing I'm like, oh, how do I know if this happened to that child or not? And I've seen so many cases that I thought should have been prosecuted that wasn't, but I'm like, I'm not God. So it's kind of like, okay, just let it go and accept things where they're at now. Because everything has its purpose.
Yeah. I mean, even the good and the bad.
Yes, because I look at the bad things that I went through, but it's helping me now with the students and stuff. I can relate. I know what they feel like. Like I said, well, especially with the custody issue, because I get parents that come in. I have both sides parents that come in, and I tell them I'm not involved. I'm in the middle. I'm thinking about the student and what's best. Once again, you guys need to come to terms and you need to figure it out. But I can tell you it does get better. That may not want to be what they want to hear at that time, but it does get better. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Because from a kid's point of view, it's
Mm-hmm.
you don't sometimes think it could get right. It's the worst
Right.
thing that ever happened to me,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you just
Mm-hmm.
instill that in them,
Mm-hmm.
that hope and faith?
Well, first, sometimes depend on the child, but sometimes you have to redirect them on something else too. Okay, right now is something you don't have any control over if we're talking about the parents. But what is it that you want to do in life? What are your plans? What are something like this? So sometimes just need to divert all that energy and put it on something that they can't control. And that's usually what I use a lot too when it's like, what can we do? They're adults, they're gonna do what they want to do. Can if we could change it, would we? Yes, of course we would, but we can't. So what can you do? What are your goals? What are your plans? When you get to the point where you can get out of the house or go, what are you gonna do? Have you ever thought about it? What college do you want to attend? So you just kind of redivert them and put them more in a positive way on something that they can control.
I apologize. There's some technical difficulties, but we're back on.
Okay.
One thing I know you had mentioned with Bray, education. I guess share a little. Which one to share about that?
That I got my associate from IBC in psychology with a certificate in human relations. Then went on to San Diego State. Took some time in between because was working and being a parent full time. So I have my bachelor's in criminal justice from San Diego State in Calexico, and then went on started at the University of Redlands here, and then end up going to the main campus to receive my master's in education and counseling.
That's right. How long was that? How long from your first college class to your final one?
Ooh, you really want to know that?
Well, I think it's important. I think
It
some
is.
people, you stop going
Oh,
like, I can't get
yes.
back into
Oh,
it.
yes,
or-
no.
What?
I graduated from high school at age 16 in 1979, okay? And I did not receive my AA until 97. That's when I received my AA from IBC. And then I received my bachelor's and, oh man, let me see. You know what, let's change that. I believe the AA was in 91. And then in 97, I received the bachelor's. And then the master's in 2004.
Oh, so did you feel like once you kind of got the ball rolling on that, it's kind of.
No, because it wasn't straight through. It was sections, depending on what was happening. Because like I said, I went through the divorce. I moved out of the valley and did things. So it was like, just get situated, get your life going. And then like, okay, now it's time to get back. And I felt when I went back, I was more serious, I was more determined, and I was ready to be focused. Because really coming out of high school, I wasn't. I used to hang out in the lounge area, play dominoes and cards, and then when I seen my first report card, I was like, what? Then I thought, what do you expect? You never went to class, but then when I came back, I'm like, no, I'm staying out of there, I'm not going. So, and each step of the way, it was more, I realized what I was there for. And also, I feel that I learned more because coming out of high school, I was just there because that's what I was supposed to do. That's what I was expected to do. Where when I went back, it's like, no, I'm here for me. I'm here to learn. I'm here to apply it. I'm here to use it. So even though it took a while, I felt that I learned and it stayed with me more. Because before it's like, okay, you got a test. Come on, let's study. Let's get through it. And that was it. But I feel that the things I learned are still a part of me now.
If the counselor you now, what would you tell maybe if you were you or your counselor when you were a teen, what would you tell yourself?
I kind of think it would be the same thing that I told myself to keep going. Kind of deal with what you have going now, breathe, and, you got to decide, you got to prioritize what's important in your life. don't forget about it, just prioritize it and put it on a list, and then that way you can get to it and it'll be there. Because you have the rest of your life to accomplish it.
Are kids' priorities the same? Or they, I feel like priorities would be the same for kind of everyone, but now they would maybe put, well, social media is now, you know, they would maybe think there are more when.
You know what? I think that we think that, but I think no, especially the kids at Meadows, and I think at some of the Oscar schools. Because, yeah, they have it, but I think really when it comes down to it, they have a lot of other issues that we don't acknowledge and deal with and face. Because a lot of them are concerned about their parents. A lot of them are concerned about, you know, having certain things and stuff. So it's not as, you know, much fun and the things we think that they would prioritize them. You know, and then it could be that social media, but then we kind of go through it and work through it. Okay, where's that gonna get you later on? Can you find a job doing that? How much money are you gonna make with that? So it may be, but you still work with it and educate them on seeing how is it gonna get them what they want.
Yeah, like you said, kids are going through real issues that
Yes.
sometimes we don't.
Mm-hmm.
Kid can't go through that.
Right, or, you know, no, never, you know, that's just it. Because some days I go home and, you know, I'm there and I'm praying for 'em when I get there, because I'm like, oh, you know, how are they making it to even concentrate in school, to be doing the things, you know? I was working in Riverside one time, and I never forget, I went out to see a client. I think she was about 10, 11 years old, and we would go out in the evenings, and she told me, she was like, Miss Shelton, I had such a hard day today. I'm like, you know, what happened? And she said, well, when I left home this morning, my mom told me she may not be alive when I get back home. And I'm like, well, what did she mean? She said she might kill herself. I said, you made it through school all day with that on your mind? You know, from kind of hearing that, I'm thinking, we don't know what kids are going through. You know, because I'm like, wow, that would be a lot. I said, but you made it. She came home, so you know you work her out of it. But still, and even when I was in the master's program, it was a lot of teachers. And they were like, the school's this, you know. And I'm like, but you don't see all these other issues that students have to deal with. You're just looking at it from an academic point of view. But you don't know if they have food, you don't know if they're homeless, you know, it's all these other issues that we have to look at also. You know, so it's the whole picture.
And how do you,
Mhm.
'cause that's a lot, I mean, like you said, for someone to go through, but it does take a toll on someone to hear these things and maybe feel that it's kind of out of your control at times.
Well, first of all, I know it's out of my control. That's the first part. Because I think really when I was doing CPS, I didn't realize that. And that's where the burnout and the stress came out. But now I know that it's a higher power up there that can deal with it and can work with them. And it's not for me to do it. You know? And the fact too is when I bring them in that room or whatever, it's just, when you have me, you have me. It's just you and me right now. So when you leave out, I let it go too, because I do what I have to do, say my prayer, do whatever, and turn it over. And then when the next one come in, so it's like I'm only dealing with one at a time, one period. And then at night, I just pray for the whole school or pray for whatever, because I know it's not for me to work out. All I can do is give them my suggestions or recommendations, and it's up to them to do the rest. And when they don't do it, that's what I tell them, you don't have to hire me if you didn't do what I suggested, that's okay. Because I think acceptance is a big deal too. We have to let them know it's okay to come back. You know, we all fall short. We all do, and it's okay. We just have to pick ourselves back up when we're ready to do it.
How important is that, like that higher power, that faith?
Oh, very important, because it's take a certain relief off, knowing that you don't have to have control, knowing that somebody else has it. So you just turn it over, you know, you kind of hear the thing, let go, let God. And I used to always say it, you know, because that's something we deal with. But to actually feel it, believe it, and to know it, that it will be taken care of for the best. It's like He took care of me, He'll do the same thing for you, you know. But the thing is, in school counseling, you can't go there. I don't feel that I could go there and talk about God that way. But it's ways to just put it, it's going to be okay, it's going to be that. But then when I get home, or when they gone, I could do my prayer, I could do my stuff, because I do understand everybody don't believe in it. And that's why sometimes, say with the 12 steps, the higher power, whatever, 'cause whatever you have. But for me, I know what it is, but I don't try to put that on them too, because if they don't, it's gonna be a turnoff. So, you have to walk that fine line. But when I'm by myself, oh, it makes a big difference, really. And that's what keep me going, because my supervisor did my evaluation, and she asked that, so how do you deal with it? Prayer? Prayer? 'Cause I know it works. And every Sunday when I go to church, take it to the altar, leave it there. But I do it. And then when I see things happening even with the students, you have to give praise too. You have to thank them and praise them for what it's become. And the thing is, when you don't have any idea or image of what you want done, you really let go and let God do it. Because see, sometimes we say, oh God, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. No. It's put it in, I'm giving it to you to put it in your hands to work what's best, Because I kind of look at him the way I used to, God, the way I used to look at my children. Because we used to have our family meetings. And of course, my daughter, girls. She's like, I don't know why you want to sit down with you every week and tell you what's on her mind. You're not going to do it anyway, You know what I mean now, but I like to know where you're coming from. Because see, I'm telling you, you're looking at just your part of the picture. I'm looking at the bigger picture. As a parent, that's my job, to see the bigger picture. And I figure it's the same way with God. It's his job to see that bigger picture. I'm only seeing this one part. And that's all I can do is take the part that I have and trust in him that he sees the rest, and he's going to work it for the best, for the good.
Yeah, like I said, you don't understand it, but he does.
And I don't need to understand it. Because that's where I think you get burnt out, you get worried, you get frustrated. No, I don't need to. I turned it over to him, and I trust and I believe in him. I have faith in him.
You talked about saying, I used to just say let go and let God. What happened? Why? What point you?
Well, it could be age too. Because at one time, because really I believed it when I said it. It wasn't just saying it, but it's something you hear in the counseling field, in the 12-step field, and stuff like that. But I think as I picked it up, or as I got more into the Bible, the reading and getting into it, and now I see it's like, wow, I'm not picking up, and it takes time. Because, even when you do let go, you find yourself picking it up, But now I find out, just let it go, because I can't do it. It's not for me to do it, Do I want to, beat myself up, do all the things that I talk to my students about, and that's a good thing that helped me, because sometimes when I'm doing things, and I backslide sometimes too, But then I'm like, you say, what would you tell your students? You're preaching to your students. And if you're not doing what you're saying, that's hypocritical. So you have to practice what you preach. So that's what keep me going too. When I, get to times, I'm like, wait a minute. Because I want to sit down with them, which I say, I understand it's hard. I know this is hard, but I'm not going to sit there, ooh, I messed up, so how can I expect for you to do it, But you feel and you know what they're going through, but you still keep encouraging.
And kids can feel, like I said, kids can understand when someone's not being real. Kids can tell, like, oh, I was just talking, I feel that honesty from you. Like, I really, there's like a genuineness that you can't really describe. It's just, someone said, what do you mean? Like, I just...
You feel it.
I just feel it. She's being honest. We're just talking.
But that's the same feeling I want to get into the students too when they go for counseling, because to me, I'm the first step. If they say, I like counseling, I don't like it. So that's what I tell them, listen to you. We know we have something inside of us that'll let us know when it's good. And if it don't feel good, so I really try to get them to connect to who they are too. And to see that it's okay, because we get those little feelings for a reason. And a lot of times we ignore them, and that's usually when we get in trouble. But to me, we haven't. I look at it as that child inside of us. That's the way I look at it.
How do you get, you said that's honesty you are, how do you get kids to be honest, not to just you, but to themselves?
Well, I think it's just something they have to work at, and they have to want it. Because like I tell them, you can tell me anything. That's okay, because I'm going to take it. because that's what I'm here for. You know, I say I'll find out because actions, does speak louder than words. So I said, but that's still okay. So I still just keep accepting them the way they are until they're ready to make that change. Because I don't want to turn them off because like the program is voluntary. If, they don't want to come in and see me, and I tell them that in the beginning, you don't have to be here, at any time. So if you feel the need that you want to stop, it'll be nice to let me know. But if you don't, that's okay too. So I think this acceptance and letting them know whatever decision you make, I'm still going to be here when you decide to talk. And it's okay. And I think that's really what we need to hear and want to hear. Because so many times we get judged, we get put down, like I said, and we're always getting beat up on, and we're our worst enemies most of the time. So it's just to see that it's okay. When you decide to come back, I'm here. And I'm not going, oh, last time, or oh, you ready now? No. Okay, what would you like to talk about? It's just that simple.
And that kind of, is it a relationship? How would you describe that? Or
I guess you can put it as a relationship, but I think it's just knowing that somebody's there, willing to listen, and that's going to be okay with whatever you say. And that's another thing from going through so much myself, from being in the field and having work experience, I haven't really been shocked about anything that I have heard in my work. And I go back to the Sure Helpline from when I worked there, the 24-hour crisis center. We were kind of trained on, voice control and things like that, so you don't let people hear that difference, because if somebody telling you something and if you respond and your voice change, they gonna shut down. So you have to keep that same pace, keep the same thing going. But like I said, I haven't really had anything that would make me, even with working in Child Protective Services. They've seen some things, but it still never made me react differently, because too, this is still a human being sitting in front of me. And the thing I believe in too is the golden rule. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. So we're doing that I want to be sharing something with you, and you just kind of, wow, it's got to make a difference. And then when you get into counseling, you get into, the body language and all those things too, so you have to take all of that. But I think when it's sincere and it's coming from the heart, it's easy to do. Because really, I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm just having conversation.
yeah. You talked about when you get to a certain point, you have to help out others. Was there anyone who helped you out, or who helped you out as you were going through?
I would say really, and I tell my kids too, everybody that we meet has something that we can gain from them, even if it's what not to do.
Yeah,
we still learn something from them. But like I said, the ones that really stand out the most, I would say Loretta Kids from the Sure Helpline, because and I say her because when I would meet with her, because really very so often we had to meet, and she'd be, oh, how are things going, kid? And I said, oh, the phones were this, and I started talking about that. She said, no, I don't want to know about the phones. I want to know about you. How are you doing? And that kind of always stuck with me, because it's like, and as being over a group home and having my own nonprofit, I kind of take that same attitude. The work is the work, but I want to know how you as an individual are doing. What's going on with you? Because I do care about you. Or whether you want to share it with me, that's up to you, but I am asking.
Sentinel for El Central 2 on County
Okay, messed me up. Got me. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that kind of control. It's almost help myself before I can help others.
And that's it. That's what Dr. Bloomberg at Behavioral Health, he told me that when I went over there. He said, we as human beings with the brain are some of the stupidest people. Animals don't have a brain. And the first rule of Mother Nature is self-preservation. And we as people don't do it. And I was like, wow, that's true. So it was like after that, it's like, okay, if you want to help somebody, you got to help yourself first.
And that's sometimes hard. I mean, like I know you said you went through behavior, you went through, you got help when you needed it. That does take a lot as well. Like I said, sometimes we don't pride, ego.
Yeah, and I think mine, it took me a little bit longer probably than what it should have, because I knew it was coming. But think because I was so well known in the community too. You know, like everybody kind of knew me, you know, every place, and it was like, oh, but it got to the point, and I think that too was probably God, because it got to the point of, I don't care what they know, you know, it's not about them, it's about me, and that's really what it came. And now, you know, that's what I kind of put to the forefront, even though I do the work, but like I said, I enjoy it, but I know you need to take time for you. You need to stop. You need to make that list. You need to prioritize. A lot of the things that I talk to everybody else about, I do it myself. And I know they work. You know, and that's it, because I have my list, I check it off, because sometimes we feel like, oh, we're not doing enough, or this, and that. When I look at my list, I'm like, I'm all right. You know, and then if I don't finish it, carry it over to the next day. Or, you know, it will get done. And then I look at it too, well, maybe it wasn't meant to do today. Let go, let God too. So, you know, you gotta put it all together.
Have faith.
Mm-hmm. And believe. With that faith. You gotta believe.
Yeah. That's great. We'll probably wrap it up there. Anything else you'd like to share?
No, I think I got more in there than I planned on, so it's good.
Me too. I got more than I had planned on. No, I really enjoyed this conversation.
Good.
Learned a lot, and I want to thank you. Thank
Oh,
you for
you're
the work you do, and
welcome.
thank you for coming. I know we had some difficulties, but we got through it.
And you know God is in control.
So,
That's why I was okay with it.
thank you.